All right, there we go. We are live. Welcome, YouTube. My name is Mike Tharp. I am a public education system school teacher. I have my undergrad in history, government, and economics, and my master's is in special education, learning disabilities, and emotional impairment. Today, what we're going to be doing is teaching you guys how to write better using something called Fundamentals in the Sentence Writing Strategy. This was developed at the University of Kansas. It's one of the best programs I've ever worked with and learned from. I went through high school, college, and got straight A's, and I still really didn't understand grammar or how to write or sentence structure. I was taught this at Grand Valley University to teach special education students. But what I found out is that I actually learned more from it and got better with my writing than I had in all of my high school career and college. So I'm going to be teaching this to my sons this year. This is Daxton. He's going to be going into first grade. You want to say hi?
Hi.
And Bryler is going to be going into third grade.
I'm
So I thought that I wanted to start teaching them this anyway, so I might as well make it available for other people to learn as well. So what we want to kind of do is every day we'll probably have a consistent time that we come on live stream. So if you want to come on with your children and have them learn, or if you just want to have them do it, you can do that as well. But no matter your level, this can help you. Whether I've taught this in classes for many years now, I've been a teacher for 15, whether it's students that are getting 4.0 and going to college, or students who struggle reading and writing because they have a learning disability or another special education disability. So it's all encompassing. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes a day, but that's what our plan is. So our first lesson today is, what is a sentence? Okay. So we need 5 things for a sentence. Can you guys help us review what those are? What's the first thing we need?
We have to have a capital letter.
Very good. Sentence must start with a capital. Daxton, what's number 2?
Have a punctuation.
Very good. A punctuation. What are some examples of punctuations?
Period, exclamation mark, and question mark.
And question mark. Good. So period, exclamation point, question mark are our main examples. Bryler, what's number 3?
You have to have a subject.
Very good. You must have a subject. What is a subject?
A subject is what the sentence is about.
Very good. And what part of speech is a subject usually?
A noun.
A noun. Very good. So a person, place, or thing is usually our subject. All right. What's the next thing that we need, Daxton?
Have a verb.
A verb. What is a verb?
Something that you can do.
Something that you can do. Like, what's an example?
Run, jump.
Run and jump would be verbs. Very good. And we're also going to learn something called a state of being in a few lessons from now. But for now, let's just say a verb is something that you do. Okay, and what's the last thing our sentence needs to have?
It has to make sense.
Very good. It must make sense. So one of the key components about the sentence writing strategy is that you verbalize it. So if you're a teacher learning how to teach this, or whether you're a student who wants to learn, say these things with us. Repeat them out loud. We're going to be doing a lot more of it where we repeat and echo each other too. So now that we know what those 5 things are, what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do every day, is we're going to rewrite 5 sentences. And it's important to do this because you're practicing your writing and your spelling and stuff like that. So what my boys are going to do now is rewrite these 5 sentences and correct them. So that's what we want you guys to do right now. Okay? So you guys go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Rewrite your sentences, and you're going to fix any errors that you see in the sentences.
My dad forgot to say that we have to write the date too.
Oh, good point. So one thing that I stress with them is we're going to have, you guys go ahead and keep working. So as I've taught this throughout the years, what you want to have is a notebook for your students, whether they're at home or in your classroom. So when I taught this before, is that each student had, I got the composition books that are hard. They're usually black and white, marble. I got one of those for each of my students, and I had a place for them, and that's what they would get and use every day. So I would have them dated. So our date today was 6/18/19. So put that on the top of your paper. And then I always had them number it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and skip a line in between. That's very important. especially students with disabilities or learning disabilities, have a hard time organizing and structuring things. So when I look at their writing, I can see they struggle with how close their letters are, how close their sentences are. So we're kind of using this as our anchor to help structure their learning and their thinking. So it's very important that you stress to them to make this as orderly and structured as possible. So we're always going to skip a line in everything we do with the sentence writing strategy. It's very important. So when they're doing this, I'm going to put on a little royalty-free music. Now, if you are at a different level and you feel like you're ready and you want to put an S over the subject in each sentence, you can, and put a V over the verb. And if you're not sure what those are, you're not ready for that yet, that's fine. We'll eventually get around to teaching you those so you all know what those are. Now I know what some of you are thinking, and when I taught this with my students, a lot of them would complain about always having to write down the sentences. Well, can't I just put, I know it's a period's missing, can't I just put that? And the answer is no. You writing this and doing it and seeing it is actually teaching your brain these skills. So even if you are, I've taught this, like I said, to high school students that get 4.0s who are going to universities. Now we might move through these first stages a lot quicker than if I was teaching students in elementary, but we still start with the basics. So yes, you do need to write 5 sentences a day on paper. Because I've dabbled with making this electronic, but in the end I think you need that to actually see it and write it out on paper. So if you're not done, you can pause this now, but we're going to kind of go over and review what was wrong with each sentence. So for those teachers out there that want to understand how to teach this as well, reviewing and going over what they did is very important so that all students understand. And we'll get into the teaching of why this is just good teaching later on, but for now, we'll do that.
Daddy?
Yes?
I don't know what the subject and the verb is on the last sentence.
Okay.
I got everything.
So
else.
So Browder's not sure of the subject and verb for number 5. So what is the action someone's doing?
Eat.
Eat. Okay. So that's your verb. And who is eating?
Peter.
Peter. So this is another thing that we'll get into more, but it's actually, I like to teach students, and the program teaches them to find the verb first. Normally, when I grew up, at least, when they taught grammar, they had you find the subject, but that can be kind of tricky depending on the sentence. So we always find the verb first, and then we say, who is doing that? Who is doing that verb? All right, so let's go over these guys. Number 1, what is our error?
The swam doesn't make sense.
Okay, so what did you guys put in place?
Rose.
Okay, so the moon rose. So number 1 did not make sense.
And
all
the
right?
moon isn't capitalized.
I don't think the moon would be capitalized.
No, but it's the name of something.
That's true, but there's lots of moons.
Oh.
So yeah, it has to be a specific name.
Okay.
All right, number 2, what's the error there, Daxton?
It's not capitalized.
Very good. It does not start with a capital letter. So if you change Sally to a capital S, you got that one right. Bradler, what's wrong with number 3?
There's no period. I mean exclamation.
Right. There's no end punctuation. Very good. Daxton, what's wrong with 4?
It's not a capitalized letter.
Very good. Now I'm looking at your paper and I see you missed one thing on that though.
Space.
Right? And what would go at the end?
A mark.
So Daxton capitalized the I, but then he forgot to put in his exclamation point. All right, and Bradler, what's wrong with number 5?
There's no exclamation. Punctuation.
There's no end punctuation. Okay? So those are the 5 errors that were in there. Hopefully you guys found them. And we're going to slowly, consistently get better at recognizing those and practicing them. And then every day we'll kind of, after a few days, we'll move on to something more complicated. So I think that's it. If you guys want to learn how to be better writers, understand grammar, spend time with your kids, we're going to be doing this all summer. I'm hoping to start to live stream around 1 o'clock each day, if that works out. So please like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll be coming to you guys daily. Daxton, did you want to say anything before we let them go?
Oh, subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Okay, so you hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live, and you guys can ask questions and give us some comments and feedback later on. Bryler?
Also like the video, gives it a thumbs up is what the like is.
All right.
It's magical, it can change colors.
There you go. Magic and changing colors. All right, that's it for our first live stream of the sentence writing strategy. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. We're out. Peace.